With that, let's get into today's webinar. The packaging industry is facing a major transformation with upcoming regulations introducing stricter sustainability standards. These will impact every stage of the packaging lifecycle. While these regulations are crucial for a sustainable future, they present significant challenges for producers, including potential increases in production costs, heightened monitoring and reporting requirements, and uncertainty around implementation. This webinar will delve into the implications of these regulations, focusing on how digital tools can empower businesses to navigate this complex landscape and ensure a smooth transition to compliance. Our speakers will help you understand the regulatory landscape by breaking down key regulation requirements, and we'll discuss how digital solutions such as simulation, virtual testing, and data management platforms can streamline your journey to compliance, sharing real-world examples and best practices. With that, I'm very pleased to welcome our speakers. We have Mel Creasy, who is Simulia Senior Industry Business Consultant for CPGR at Dassault Systèmes, Marius Tent, co-founder of 360 Pack Mastery, and Walid Daragut, CPG Retail Industry Solution Experience Director at Dassault Systèmes. With that, I'd like to hand over to Marius. The floor's yours.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. The future, this is really a call to action. We wanted really to start the webinar today that way, and then the future of packaging is being shaped today. If ever was a time to action, this is really today. I am Marius, and I'm going to talk with you about three big things. I'm going to share about us, a 360 Pack Mastery. The second thing will be focusing on PPWR. I will highlight some of key requirements, and really, what are the three big things, how you should tackle it, how we are suggesting to tackle it, and then last but not least, how we can help from our side with 360 Pack Mastery. Then about us. What you see there is 25 years of experience, but more than anything else, what matters is the learnings. 25 years of amazing learnings in packaging industry. What I'm going to share today with you, it's about the tool I dream of having in every single role, you know, from my early days as a packaging engineer, developing packaging, qualifying them with user, running them on the lines, and as well, obviously, writing specs for them, to leading entire packaging function where I really have to promote packaging transformation strategy to the board level, having the chance to work for some amazing businesses there. Then, how was the tool created? How we did it, actually, we are talking to more than 70 people. We talked to packaging, to brand owners. We talked to packaging suppliers. And this was really done in that way to address the biggest challenges that the industry is facing. And what I really would like to highlight, this is an independent online platform born from hands-on experience in those multiple roles. And that's for us extremely close to our heart. We are neutral and we really can help everyone at the end of the day. Going a bit into more details, what we are really doing, what we wanted to create with this tool is the matchmaker, is the information packaging platform where we try to connect brand owners with packaging suppliers and as well connecting packaging supplier with packaging components suppliers. It's really kind of building the link between all of them there. And why? What are really the biggest challenges that this is addressing? If you think to brand owners, and I'm really coming from there, I could not forget, you know, I was packaging engineer, a packaging head as well. What are really the biggest challenges that the industry is facing today? First, the need to keep up to speed with the regulatory changes. There are so much information those days. There is so many regulation changing and updating that you really need to keep up to speed. The big difference versus many years before, you cannot do any packaging development those days, especially in Europe, without knowing in-out the regulation. The time it's over, when we went all to our regulatory colleagues, we were asking them, could you please look into that for us? Yes. This happens today as well, but more than everything else today, we need to be on top of all those regulations. Then the need for PPWR, spot-on solutions. There are very crystal clear requirements there. We need solutions to those. And what is key, I think everyone knows that, and we see we have quite a lot of viewers today, you cannot have one single solution. You really need to scrutinize the market. You need, all of us, we need a portfolio of solutions. And then we need to scrutinize the market for that. And what we are doing actually with our platform, we try to make life easier. If you are going to look there, we are going to scrutinize ourselves, the market, and then based on those requirements, we are going to see, please look, those could be really interesting solutions for your challenges you are having there. And last but not least, we need the right resources. You think for an LCA tool, because more than circularity, we have to drive carbon footprint. We have really to reduce the impact. We have to look for water usage and so on. It's much more complex than one angle there. Everyone needs the right access to those tools. Everyone needs the right access to what are the right design for recyclability guidelines, for example. Summing up, those are really the three biggest challenges that we are tackling with 360 Pack Mastery. That's for brand owners. If you are looking on the other side to packaging solution providers, and here we talk converters, that packaging supplier, but as well packaging components suppliers, they want to have visibility for their good packaging sustainable solutions. They really want to have a place where they are going to promote and then give visibility to brand owners to those solutions. Then going into a bit about the details of the platform, this is really the online information packaging platform that is really delivering on three big needs. On one side, it's summarizing the PPWR requirements, and there we summarize in a nice way, visual way. You can look to recyclability or recycled content, should be very easy to understand. I am going to share lately an example. And then on those requirements, we are going to say those could be the potential solutions, spot on those requirements. Second thing, the need for information. It's so important, as I mentioned before, when you are looking into developing and launching some packaging, some markets, or even to stay on those markets, you need to know very well the regulation on that market. You need to know more information on that market about what is food regulation, what is packaging and packaging waste regulation, what it happens actually with EPR, because that's changing, it's so fast. You know, what are the steps to make sure you are paying your right fees, you are kind of registering your packaging there. And as well, what is the collection of packaging, what's happening with the sorting, and what's happening with the recycle of packaging. And then last but not least, it's really giving a link to key packaging resources, as I mentioned, LCA tools designed for recyclability, what are packaging visualization software, what are packaging data, because we all know data, and then I think Mel and Walid are going to talk later on. Data, it's really one of the big challenges that every business is looking forward to tackle there. Summing up, those are really the three things we are delivering: PPWR requirement solutions, country fact sheets, you know, and from our perspective, this is one of the most comprehensive on the market because it's tackling as well the food regulation. And last but not least, what are really key resources for every packaging developer, for everyone, every packaging regulatory person, and at the end, for everyone touching packaging today. Then, key benefits of the platform. On the brand owner side, it saves time. You know, we are talking in our life that time is one of the critical elements. It's exactly the same, and even more in business. We know everyone is extremely busy those days. It's very little time we are having. How you are really going to make the life easier of for us actually, to make sure that if they have to look for some information, they are looking in one place. They are not going to look into many different directions there. They have all the info synthesized in one place. Second one, obviously, those days, everyone is looking for solutions. And last but not least, what are the most relevant insights and resources helping them doing their job? On the packaging solution supplier side, very important, visibility. It's visibility to the solutions, to the sustainable solution. I really want to mention, because what this is really promoting, it's promoting the right things, the right solution, at least what we believe that way. And the other thing is promoting those solutions. And last but not least, getting feedback. Because by matchmaking there, you know, they are realizing, are they spot on what others are looking for example, what brand owners are looking for, or they really have to look into different directions there. And moving to the second part of the presentation, I really wanted to highlight the PPWR, what are some of the key highlights, and what will be our recommendation to tackle it. I really want to make sure I have that disclaimer there. This is done only for information purpose, because we are not lawyer actually. And then really for compliance, please consult you know, the lawyer and the full text of regulation. But let's look a bit into some of the key requirements. And I'm saying some, those are really the main requirements, but there's more than that one. If you look to the new PPWR, we have those substances of concern requirements, recyclability, recycled content, reuse and refill. And actually, it's first time when we have that really at this level at the European legislation. Then we have packaging minimization, which makes so much sense. Extended producer responsibility, packaging restrictions, deposit and return, compostability and biodegradability requirements, and as well labeling and marketing requirements. Those are really some of them. Very important to keep in mind. While we are not going to details of everything, it's much more than that. You know, we have PPWR, but it's much more to consider. If you look in Europe, there is the food contact materials regulation. There is REACH, plastic for food contact, recycled plastic and the requirements for them, green claims, eco-design directive. And on the other side, moving now to national level, because to make it even a bit more spicy, we have national laws, we have EPR, we have deposit and return system, which are different. We have ink ordinances, labeling and marketing. I'm just going to take one example, actually, two examples from there. EPR, this is so different across country to country, across each member state, because we are really talking Europe here. You took in one country, for example, you have one PROs, you have in other countries, you have 10, 20, even more there. You look to the cost or the fees on EPR. In one country could be 90 euros, 90, and for the same material in a different country could be 4,000. It's huge difference, and then really when you develop packaging, you have to consider those as well in mind. And as well, obviously, future implication. If you look as well to ink ordinances, there are some countries in which there are ink ordinances, in others there are not, you know. That's why what we are saying, you know, you really have to, this should be tackled very holistically there, looking to the European regulation, but as well to national. And there is one extra level as well to watch out, is the Global Plastic Treaty, where are a lot of negotiation underway those days. Then, how we suggest to tackle it? Obviously, the first step will be to be compliant, really comply. And why we are saying the PPWR, it's clearly the new license to operate. This is a huge change, actually. And the main reason for that, why is license to operate? It's because many of the key requirements are must-have, actually. That means are in market access condition. If the regulations stay as it is, and I hope it's going to stay, though, you know, if you comply, you can stay on the market. If you cannot comply, you cannot stay on the market. That's really the first step, compliance. Second, too, we are going to take one example. Let's take, for example, recyclability. And again, this applies to all packaging. It's very important. I should have made that comment earlier. PPWR applies to all packaging, not only to plastic. Thinking, let's say, recyclability there. All packaging placed on the EU market should be simultaneously meet those two requirements. On one side should be designed for recyclability. On the other side should be recycled at scale. To make it super simple, now I'm going to take a flexible packaging example. If you are going to make, let's say, a mono-material, mono-PE, you move from PET, PE, for example, going into details to a PE mono-material structure. It's not only you design for recyclability, because doing that, moving to mono-material, you move into the right direction, but this should be recycled at scale as well. I'm going to show what means recycle at scale in the next slide. Then here, what we are having actually. One important point, it's only, you know, grade D is not anymore existing in the PPWR. Very important. And then we are going to see that gradually we are going to have, let's say, only grade A and B and C alone on the market, let's say by 2030. That means recyclable by design more than 70%. And moving forward, starting with 3035, we are going to have even the scale score, you know, the recyclability scale score. That means you design for recyclability, but as well you have to be recycled at scale. And in 2038, it's only grade A and B are going to be left on the market. That means above 80% to be designed for recyclability and recycled at scale. But going to one of the most frequent asked questions, what means recyclability at scale? I take the example of plastic packaging here. If you look there, by 2030, recycling rate target should be 55% for all the plastic packaging, which means by 2035, and as well by 2035, the target should be 55 only for flexible packaging. And if you are really going to see how you are getting to 55, which is really, for grade C in 2035, you have to get the collection at 82%, at sorting on 82%, at recycling at 82%, because by multiplying those three things, you are getting at 55. I'm sharing this one to see how big is the leap. Please just compare those 80 plus numbers to the current real numbers from today, and realizing how big it's already as a requirement, this recyclability at scale. Now the timing there, and I am going to rush up a bit there, there is no time to waste. That's one of the key messages we are going to give you today there. The law, there is now the official law there that was published this year. It's with a number as well there. We have already to add key requirements coming in 2026. If you think to substances of concern PFAS, and the work should have been started yesterday, because by that time you have to really comply with the restrictions on that one there. On the other side, design for recyclability criteria are going to be ready by 2028. Should you wait for that? No way. If you are going to wait that, you have a huge chance, and especially if you are coming from a big business, from a huge business, and you are just letting the last 2 years to be ready for 1st of January 2030, meeting the criteria as I was sharing before, it's very little probability someone could make it happen, and especially, as I said, when it's a big business. What we are suggesting, actually, it's kind of already there are solutions. On one side, taking the existing design for recyclability guidelines. If you think flexible, we can take the example here, the CFlex guidelines, and moving there, you move right away into the right direction. Or the norms that are going to be published earlier. That means there is stuff that should be done earlier there. Second one, first step was really getting compliance. Second thing, which is very close to my heart, that's how you can make packaging matter. I'm really a packaging sustainability guy, but more than anything else, I like to call myself packaging and sustainability and innovation. We can create value. And for creating value with packaging, we need to hit a sweet spot there. And then the sweet spot will be between those 5 parameters. Desirability. Consumers should love that packaging. They want to buy it. They want to use it. They have a great experience with it. Viability. It's profitable as well for the business. Then it's fitting as well on the brand fit. It's a fantastic brand image, actually, really fitting on the brand there. It's sustainable. It's even more than circular. And last but not least, it's feasible. You can make happen that in reality. That's why it's very important. That's how you can make a difference. That's how you can differentiate versus competition. Everyone in principle will do compliance. The winners are going to create value. The winners are going to differentiate themselves versus the others. And I'm saying that because I did it. And I had the chance actually to do it and to experiment it really on the marketplace. Then the next one, and last one on the steps moving forward. There are 3 things that we are suggesting on the way forward. Collaborate across the industry. Everyone needs to stand up, but needs to collaborate as well. A systemic change is needed across the whole value chain to drive this transformation. And then for that, join value chain consortium like CFlex, CLab. I am not sharing only because I am part of them, but it's because I truly believe that's what could really change moving the needle there. Join pilot projects, initiatives. There are some kind of racing initiative in different markets. It's so important to have those at national level, and even more engage with EPR schemes at the country level, join different national organizations, and then drive with the country, the collection, sorting, and recycling. That's the only way to make those 80 plus numbers and to reach the recyclability at scale criteria moving forward. And then how we can help, sticking to my time there. This is one of the couple of last slides from my side. Last slide from my side. Actually, I have only one other call to action and a question to you. It's on PPWR. We summarize, let's say, the requirements in an easy way to understand, and we are giving solution as well there. If you look for monomaterials, if you look for molded fiber, if you are going to look for, let's say, barrier paper, inks, sustainable coatings, we are offering the solution. But on the other side, we are offering as well great solution on hard to recycle packaging today already. You have a metallized PET today with a PE, how you are going to recycle that. There are amazing applications there, and then we are playing the role of matchmaking, and we have a really interesting solution we were just adding to our platform this week. The other thing is country fact sheet, as I was mentioning there, starting with food contact regulation, with packaging weight, step-by-step guide on how you are tackling EPR, including even sanctions, and penalties, fees, what you are paying if you are not compliant there, and then ending up with what are the collections, what is the sorting, what are the recycling facility in the country. For example, one of the news is there that Spain was kind of opening a new factory, recycling flexible, with 130,000 tons this year. And obviously we are giving regular, every second week, newsletter to our members. Last but not least, we are offering as well resources there, and then people who are going via us, they get discount on those resources. For example, LCA tools, visualization tools, data management tools, and even co-packing solutions. What are the co-packing that could help in different countries in Europe? And last but not least, and I'm going to end up here, again, this is a call to action. If you are a packaging leader, and you are, I guess that's why you are joining this webinar, stand up. If you don't do it for you, do it for your kids. This is the right time to do it. What legacy you leave to the next generations? That's my question to you. You don't need to answer to me. And then moving forward, I would like to really invite Emma and Mel. Please reach to us, by the way, if you need any help, but we would like to run a small poll with Emma and Mel, if you don't mind, please.
Thank you so much, Marius. Okay, so as Marius said, it's time for a quick poll. This will be on screen for about a minute. I'll read the question and answers out loud to give the audience a chance to respond. So, do you fully grasp PPWR and, the requirements of the PPWR and its impact? Yes, we're well prepared, still figuring it out, not really, need clarification, or no, I need urgent insights. So Marius, while we wait for some responses, why did you want to ask this question?
Yeah, because really I want to understand where it's everyone asking, really staying right now. What is my impression actually? If you are very serious about PPWR, everyone should be starting moving now. And it's very important to really understand the status quo. Are the companies ready? Are the companies just making their mind, or they are really advanced on their journey against PPWR, which in my opinion is the biggest change I have seen in the last 30 years in the industry.
Great, thank you so much. We have about 10 seconds left, so keep answering, everybody. 5 seconds.
No pressure.
Okay, so the timer has run out. We have for yes, we're well prepared, 19%, still figuring it out, 63.5%,
wow.
Not really, need clarification, 14.3%, no, I need urgent insights, 3.2%. So these are the answers we were expecting to get.
I think, yeah, I would say, Marius, that's a fair representation from our experience, yeah. There are some people who are, I would say, well ahead, been looking at this PPWR for a long time and well organized, but I think it's so big and so far reaching that many companies are really still looking for more information, more guidance, more clarity, and trying to understand the overall impact, yeah.
Indeed.
Great.
Okay.
Sorry, thank you both so much. With that, I'll hand back to Mel for his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma, and thank you, Marius. Great presentation. Very interesting information. So I'm Mel Creasy. I'm representing Dassault Systèmes today. I've been with Dassault for the last 2 years. I work as an industry business consultant with Walid, supporting companies in the consumer packaged goods industry. I came from Unilever, so I spent 30 years working for Unilever, half of that time in supply chain, engineering, project management, manufacturing. The second half was more in R&D, working in packaging design, packaging development and innovation, and also supporting Unilever with the digital transformation program for the packaging team. So let me just move to the next slide. just to introduce a little bit about Dassault Systèmes, so you know, in case there's no one on the call who doesn't know who we are and what we do. Dassault is more than just a software provider. We are unique in terms of being a science-based and technology-powered company. Our solutions empower companies to accelerate sustainable business innovation. We do this by providing what we call virtual twins. These are 3D simulations that allow you to test and optimize your packaging solutions, your ideas, before you realize them and bring them to life. We also help to connect people and to resolve key business and sustainability challenges. I'm not going to go through this timeline in detail, but I just want to say, you know, the key message here is that Dassault has been around since the early 80s, and throughout that time it's continuously improved and evolved to meet the needs of customers and the industries around the world, from 3D design right the way through to developing virtual twin experiences for a sustainable world. And it's this continuous improvement mindset and a passion to help businesses have a positive impact on the world, as Marius just alluded to. They're the things that attracted me to the company. So in a nutshell, we're a purpose-driven company, almost 24,000 employees worldwide, and our people are passionate about what they do. We've got 197 offices around the world, 76 R&D labs, and R&D represents 41% of our organization. So you can see a big investment there. We've also got a large ecosystem of partners, around 14,000 people working in our ecosystem for partners, and a large customer base, 350,000 customers, 12 industries, and about 45 million users worldwide. So just a quick dive into some of the software and the brands that we own and we manage. So on the left-hand side, you can see this compass. Our brands are organized into these 4 different quadrants. So we've got social and collaborative solutions at the top. We've got 3D modeling on the left, information intelligence apps on the right, and simulation apps. So this is how we organize the software that we develop and build. During the course of this presentation, I'll be talking a bit about Simulia, so physics-based simulation. I'll be talking a bit about Biovia, which is more chemistry and molecular modeling. On the top, I'll be alluding to some of the roles and capabilities of Enovia, which is about project management, data management. And on the right-hand side, just towards the end, Walid will talk a bit about NetVibes, which is our data intelligence and data science capability on the platform. And on the right-hand side, you can see, whilst Dassault started the business really in the aerospace and automotive sectors, it's really diversified and grown over time, and it's been supporting the consumer packaged goods industry for at least 20 years now. Okay, so today we've got a multidisciplinary portfolio with solutions available across all of these different physics disciplines, supporting a number of different domains, from chemistry-based molecular modeling through to physics-based structural simulation and beyond. This means our solutions are well placed to address the many challenges that companies are facing to adapt to the PPWR requirements. So I'd now like to run a short video to help articulate the role that Dassault Systèmes can play in supporting you on the journey to address the challenges and the opportunities that PPWR are bringing. So over to the video.
So, your company has set the most ambitious sustainability goals. The timeline is 5 years. You're behind, and you are responsible to drive the transformation. Reinvent packaging, materials, 100% recyclable and circular, no single use. You must make it happen. Be bold, revolutionary, disruptive. Show them you're a front runner. But in only 5 years, how is that possible? And can it even be economical? Yes, it can. But only if you fundamentally reimagine the way you work. This is the virtual twin. powered by the 3D Experience platform. The key to sustainable transformation is simulation. In the virtual world, you can collaborate, imagine, test, qualify faster. Design, manufacture, deliver faster, more efficient. It accelerates innovation, it simplifies complexity, and it can optimize every phase of your product's lifecycle. You can become sustainable. Sustainability can become economical. Imagine it, test it, improve it in the virtual world. Then make it a reality. Fast. This is the 3D Experience platform.
Okay, great. Thank you for running the video. Whilst I do find that video slightly intimidating, I think the speaker does a good job of emphasizing the need to take action now, as Marius emphasized as well in his presentation. So when it comes to understanding the impact, analyzing the impact of PPWR on your portfolios and building a program to execute to address that, I do appreciate this is a very simplistic view of the process that companies will need to go through and are going through in response to PPWR. As already explained by Marius, he's really well placed to help companies with step one in this process to understand the regulations and the various requirements that they bring. Dassault Systèmes is positioned more on the right-hand side of this picture to support companies with the execution and management of the change programs that will be necessary to meet the requirements of PPWR. I do believe both Marius and Dassault can support companies in these intermediate steps 2 and 3 to assess the impact of packaging on your portfolio and to develop a plan of action. So we know that the regulations will drive a number of significant changes across the packaging industry. And some of the headlines are shown on the left-hand side of this slide. When it comes to digital tools and enabling these changes, we can see that there's a lot of things that digital tools can bring to helping companies with compliance. And we, as Dassault, we're already seeing a significant focus on sustainability-driven activities with customers around the globe. So here's a few examples of how digital tools are already making a contribution to sustainable packaging programs. I think top of the list is optimization. So we are seeing lots of customer requests and activities around lightweighting, so reducing materials, material optimization in existing packaging solutions that are out there, just making sure that we're using as little material as possible while still maintaining the performance and the requirements of those packaging solutions. We're involved in pallet and transport efficiency situations, trying to really optimize primary, secondary, tertiary solutions so they're as efficient as possible. When it comes to reuse and refill, trying to eliminate or reduce single-use plastics, then the durability of packaging becomes more important. Packs are going to spend longer in the hands of a consumer, so durability is more important than it perhaps was in the past. And we're seeing customers look at, can we improve functionality and refillability? So really thinking about helping the consumer to refill these products quickly, efficiently, cleanly, so it's a good experience. In terms of virtual testing, we're helping companies to compare more sustainable material performance to more traditional materials. So comparing PCRs and mono materials to older materials, let's say, and not just looking at their functional behavior, but also looking at the operational windows in factories. We know that sustainable materials behave differently, and we have to be able to understand the operating windows for them in the factories, whether that's sealing, capping, stability, all of these sort of dynamic challenges and problems that are important to manufacturing. We're supporting companies with virtual innovation. So virtual design, virtual testing, essentially left shifting the innovation process so that companies are able to test more, test earlier in their design and development processes. That de-risks the project, but it also creates the opportunities to do design exploration and really test and evaluate more options, more possibilities. Additionally, we can test for robustness, so we can test material variability, dimensional variability, environmental variability. All of these things help to de-risk a project, de-risk change that's been brought into the business, and hopefully lead to a more confident and reliable scale-up. We're supporting customers with virtual material innovation as well. So this is back to the BioVia topic around molecular modeling, more chemistry-based science, virtual supply chain things like virtual transit and e-commerce. And at the bottom of this list is the platform itself, 3D Experience, which is helping to manage all of that data, traceability, and promote collaborative working and lifecycle analysis. So the platform has got quite sort of diverse, broad capabilities in 3D Experience. We haven't got time to talk about all of the capabilities today, but what I would like to do is just show you 4 very short videos to bring to life a little bit of the capability on the platform. The first video I'd like to show you is from BioVia. It's this materials sort of virtual testing capability. So if we could just run the first video, please. So with this tool, we can analyze and virtually test new materials for your packaging. We can create a virtual twin of the packaging material itself. And in this example, this is a new bio-based polymer. A virtual modeling and simulation helps you to screen different materials. This can save time and lower R&D costs during development. For example, here we're virtually testing the barrier properties for water diffusion. So we're able to explore and understand material properties and behavior at a molecular level. We can also model and predict other important properties such as mechanical properties. A multi-scale and multi-physics lab solution is therefore enabling a faster transition to the next generation of sustainable materials. Great, thank you. So the next video I'd like to talk about is on sort of virtual testing and qualification. So this is more of a physics-based simulia application. So we're helping to replace physical testing of solutions. So if we could run the next video, please. As part of the 3D Experience virtual twin capability, we can use simulation to determine how a packaging design will behave in use before any physical samples are made. The value this brings is in helping to identify any potential performance issues early in the design process, enabling smart, informed design decisions. This ensures the packaging design delivers a consistently good consumer experience. We can use virtual testing to ensure packaging weight's minimized by really optimizing the use of materials throughout the packaging structure. This also helps to understand the performance of more sustainable materials compared to virgin plastic solutions. Testing the packaging configurations for multiple distribution channels is done quickly on the platform. We can evaluate the packaging as a system, optimizing load sharing and testing many different design scenarios, and this saves design time and costs. This helps us to understand how the product and packaging will perform during the logistics journey, so you optimize your design solution from the start. Thank you. And the next one is really about life cycle analysis measurement. So we'll show this short video that shows the life cycle analysis sort of quantification. The reason this is important is it's not about measuring and testing the environmental impact at the end of the development process. It's really about trying to put these measurement tools in the hands of packaging designers and developers sooner, earlier in the process, whilst multiple concepts are still available, multiple materials or options are still possible. So you can quantify, quickly compare, and make more informed choices about the sustainable impact of the solutions that are being developed. So if we could run the next video, please. Utilizing the lifecycle analysis tool on the platform, packaging developers can calculate the environmental footprint of a new or existing packaging design. users can capture all of the human activities associated with the development of a product, from the sourcing of the raw material through to the shipping, manufacture, distribution, consumer use, and the disposal of the materials. The tool uses the EcoInvent database for up-to-date information, and users can compare the environmental footprint of design alternatives to better understand how a design can be optimized to meet the sustainability goals. Users are able to view and analyze the results in different ways to gain clarity on which activities are having the largest environmental impact. There are different reporting methods available in the tool. In this example, we're using EF 3.0 to help visualize the environmental impact in user-friendly formats and to pinpoint environmental hotspots to help identify improvement opportunities. Great, thank you. Okay, so the last video for me, and then I'll hand over to Walid, is really about material compliance and claims management. So this is showing you how the platform can manage data and information to really connect a digital thread of your data and your information that might be required to underpin and support claims, sustainability claims. It can also be used to underpin and satisfy requirements that are being driven by the regulations. So if we could just run the last video, please. The platform can create a digital thread for the collection of materials to support product requirements. Packaging requirements are increasingly focused on the sustainability regulations to ensure they're being considered from the very outset of a project, such as reusability and recyclability. The platform is used to connect key people to the claims process, and the documentation and evidence gathering begins from here. The project team can establish a single source of truth repository to capture all supporting materials associated with the claims for a product. Packaging developers can use the platform to proactively mitigate risk, and the digital thread connects all of this end-to-end data to provide critical traceability for both requirements and claims on the products. By maintaining all supporting information on the platform, we make it easily accessible whenever needed. Furthermore, users can quickly connect multiple products to the same claim and its associated data with a few simple clicks, thereby saving time and effort. Great, thank you for that. Okay, so I'll just hand over to Walid for the last short piece, but it's an important one. This is about the data analytics and data intelligence on the platform that can help companies to evaluate compliance potentially with PPWR. So over to you, Walid.
Thank you, Mel. So so let me introduce to you our platform capability to empower decision maker to execute their packaging strategy effectively. So taking into account the compliance topics such as PPWR, obviously, as we are talking today, and more. So in this example that I'm showing, we are providing for stakeholder with intelligence dashboard to monitor their packaging recyclability activity. So the dashboard deliver KPIs that you can see on the top, like recyclability percentage, rate. This can be also associated with financial KPI and with much more detailed information about SKU and packaging composition. So user can drill around different parameters to visualize based on year, on country, and the KPI are automatically updated, so to give a granular real-time insight. We can move to understand the multi-year threads, for example, with respect to specific regions, specific packaging, for example. So the key in this example, for example, you can see the threshold management and the color coding is very important to highlight this area that not meet the defined criteria. So we can build this kind of thresholds and configure it easily to reflect industry standard, or to reflect company conservative internal target, for example. This offers obviously flexibility for different compliance strategy. In addition to that, with all the filtering capability, the data that you see here that we are using in this intelligent dashboard is really about packaging data coming from the multi-source. Our platform is able to aggregate, process, and index everything into a unified data lake platform. As a result, that you can see here, it's really a single source of the truth, visualized in a dynamic and evolving dashboard powered by a robust data ingesting mechanism. So the beauty of this dashboard relies on the fact that they are dynamic as in nature. They are not statics. They continuously read and update from internal or external data. In other words, the data is live, delivering insight at the right moment for the right need, so packaging people can take the right decision to optimize, to take the corrective action around their packaging. So this is very important, as this dashboard enable you to configure, to add, to monitor what's happening around the regulation, to manage and monitor the entire packaging portfolio. As you need to take decision, we understand 2028, etc., how you are taking the decision, what are the first product that you need to take into account. So this is really a way to represent the data, bringing them to decision maker and to take the right decision based on proof data, because the data can come from your master data or from the 3D experience platform itself. But so like that, company can align with regulation. And as I show in the videos, I'm showing also the internal compliance threshold. I know the regulation have some target, but company, by experience, they have their own targets. So they want to be more conservative than the regulation itself. So how you can monitor that, how you can introduce this data. And how you can put this threshold as part of your decision making. Again, with the dashboard, it's really to adapt to this quick evolution of the standards and the regulation in the market. Implementing this KPI helps you also to track the execution, identify any bottleneck, and drive obviously continuous improvement to address this evolving packaging change and to be compliant with the future regulation. So this is what I wanted to show you about this data intelligence capability.
Thank you all so much. That's all we have time for today. Thanks to everybody at home for joining.